Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Property Management 101, and for today's video, we're going to be answering the question, how to respond when you've given a resident a non-renewal notice. If you'd like to view the condensed version of this video, please check out my YouTube short on this topic, and I'll post a link to that video in the description. A resident can receive a non-renewal notice due to a variety of reasons. Here are some of the most common reasons I've seen a non-renewal notice is given. There could be renovations that are going to be done in the near future in their unit that would require the resident to move out for. These next two are very common in the single family side of the industry. For example, if the homeowner is looking to sell the property, they may want to sell the home vacant and not with a tenant in the home to expand their demographic of interested buyers. Another common thing that's in the single family side of the industry to see is when the homeowner is actually moving back into the property, that could be a reason for why the resident is receiving a non-renewal notice. Some of the other common reasons I've seen personally is maybe the resident has had multiple lease violations, and it is one of those situations as the landlord or property management company, you're not willing to entertain extending a renewal offer to that resident. And the last common reason I've really seen is maybe the resident often has a balance. They may often have late fees, maybe have multiple times where eviction is filed on them, or they've constantly carried a balance. And due to this, maybe the reason why that you will not want to offer this resident a renewal offer. Now, I've summed up 4 things that you want to keep in mind when extending a renewal offer to prepare you and your team to respond to any questions you may receive and how to manage this process. I would make sure that all 4 of these are actually ironed out before you give a non-renewal notice to a resident. Number 1, you're really going to want to find out what your state requirements are for giving a non-renewal notice. Certain states, you may have to give so much time as a notice period. You may have to give a reason, or sometimes some states you're not required to give a reason. Or I've even seen in some states you may be required to actually help that resident with some sort of moving expenses as well. So you really want to make sure that you know what your state requirements are if you provide a resident a non-renewal. Number 2, you really want to make sure you have your responses ready. So once you give a resident a non-renewal notice, this is probably not something you're commonly going to do for every resident or throughout every year that you're managing this asset. So it's probably going to be something that's rare, and oftentimes when residents receive this, they have questions, they have concerns, they're disappointed, they're frustrated, they're upset that they're not able to stay in that unit. So you really want to make sure you and your team are all on the same page when it comes to what are we required to respond with, what are we going to respond with, and any steps regarding this part of the process. So before you're asked from that resident or residents, if there's multiple residents in that unit, why they're receiving non-renewal notice, you really want to make sure everyone on your team is on the same page. If you're enjoying this video and learning something new, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. And the third thing that you want to keep in mind for any non-renewal notice given is you really want to make sure you're following fair housing rules. You want to make sure if you're giving out a non-renewal notice, it is a situation that you would be willing to give to others if they were in the same situation. So you really want to make sure you have some consistency, you have some good practices of why you're giving out that notice. This will really prevent any fair housing violations if you have a common practice and you have some documented reasons why. And the last good practice I would recommend when you're giving out a non-renewal notice to help prepare you and your team for any responses is documentation. You're really going to want to make sure that you're documenting this situation well. I would really recommend that you're providing a non-renewal notice in writing both via email and a notice to their front door of their unit. This is going to be really important because when the resident calls your office, you want to make sure that you've already provided this in writing. You already have backup copies exactly what they've been provided. It's noted in their account so anyone on your staff can refer to those notices, and to make sure that they're also documenting any type of conversation that happens as well regarding that non-renewal notice. If you've not already done so, please watch my disclosure video as well as my why I do this video. And if you found this video helpful and learned something new, please don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications for future videos. If you have any questions about this video or any of my videos I can help out with, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll be happy to address it for you. Happy leasing!